Welkom in Genève, we zijn hier te gast bij McLaren om een exclusieve blik te werpen op de nieuwe 720S. Dus de opvolger van de 650S in de Super Series, eigenlijk een concurrent voor 911 Turbo en vooral de Ferrari 488. De naam verraadt al veel, want de 720S krijgt 720 pk, weer een stuk meer dan de 650 van zijn voorganger. En doet dat uit in de 4.0 V8 met 2 turbo's. Die motor is een beetje gebaseerd op de oude 3.8 met 2 turbo's, maar zo'n 40% van de onderdelen zijn nieuw. Want zodra die was uitgeboord moesten ze eigenlijk helemaal opnieuw beginnen. En het is natuurlijk wel een spectaculair apparaat, namelijk even wat getallen. 2,9 naar de 100, 7,8 naar de 200. Dat is sneller nog dan de vorige longtail versie. En een topsnelheid van 341 km per uur. Interessant genoeg wil McLaren hem wel zo positioneren dat hij heel breed inzetbaar is. Er zal bijvoorbeeld geen GT-versie komen van deze auto, wat ze bij de 570 wel hebben gedaan. Omdat ze zeggen dat is niet nodig, omdat hij al comfortabel genoeg is. Evengoed zal hij meer hardcore zijn dan de 650 was. Hij is in praktijk sneller dan de 675 longtail. Dat geeft ook al heel wat aan. En hij is populairder dan ooit, want er zijn 400 launch editions. En die zijn nog, voordat hij hier officieel onthuld is, allemaal al verkocht. Zoals het gaat in dit segment. If we look at the car in general, what was the main focus point when developing this car?
Aerodynamics was a key feature for us. We have a higher output engine, but we didn't want to increase the mass of the vehicle, because if you have high output and you increase the mass, you're just deteriorating the performance. So aerodynamic efficiency was key for us. That's why you see so much of the beautiful sculptural surfaces on the car. The eye socket, the door duct are all there to drive aerodynamic efficiency into the car. And what this means is that we didn't need to increase the size of the radiators, either the low temperature radiator or the mid-mounted radiator. Therefore we can achieve all the performance all the engineering performance goes straight to the vehicle.
Okay.
Any mass.
And what's the effect if you look at things corner speed of the enhanced aerodynamics?
Yeah, so this has got 56% more downforce.
Compared to 650S?
Yeah, compared to the 650S, so it's a lot of downforce at the front of the car, which we can balance at the back with the beautiful full integrated wing. And then if you talk about cornering speed, we've also got a huge step on with the tyre. 6% more grip on the tyre. So the car's lighter, higher output, more grip, more downforce. The car is breathtaking on the track.
And how do you want to position it compared to the 650S? Exactly the same?
Well, it's a replacement for the 650. I mean, Super Series for us is a core of what we do. And it's not an LT. The LT has a certain characteristic that everybody loves, and it's appropriate for that very limited range of cars. But the 650 appeals to a broader sector, and we wanted to give this car breadth. So we have got this fantastic performance on the track, but actually the ride quality in this car is even better than the 650. So we don't have normal mode anymore, we have comfort mode. Very deliberate to communicate the fact that it's got a huge breadth now, which is really important for our customers.
And as understood, you won't be doing a GT version of this car like you did with a 570S?
No, I don't think so. If you look at the way the car's designed anyway, we have this, one of the advantages of a carbon fibre upper structure is that we've got actually a large amount of space behind the driver and passenger, which can be used as additional luggage space anyway. So we've got 150 litres in the front, 210 behind. There's more than enough capacity for a Super Series.
And it's plenty sure we can count on an LT version as well this time?
Not for a few years yet. Quite a few years yet, actually.
Okay, and if you look at the engine, it's now a 4.0 compared to the previous 3.8. Did you start from scratch, or did you use the previous engine as a base?
It's based on the 3.8 litre, but we've increased the stroke. But the big step in output from 650 to 720 means we virtually need to change every component on the engine. So pistons, crankshaft, turbochargers, intake exhaust manifold. We've even got 16 injectors on the engine.
Okay, so 2 per cylinder?
2 per cylinder, yeah, because the flow that we could achieve with one injector wasn't high enough at wide open throttle. So it's a huge amount of change that goes into the engine to deliver that big increase in output. Most of the feedback that we had from the Super Series was everybody loved the car. So actually what we wanted to do is build on that really strong foundation. We wanted to keep our performance advantage in the marketplace. I think people who buy a McLaren want a car that ultimately delivers performance, and so we wanted to maintain that advantage. Interesting to see how the competitors have reacted to what we've previously done, so we made a big step. And that was what drove the 720 PS, the 770 Newton meters, and the drive to absolutely minimise the weight to give that fantastic vehicle performance. I mean, 7.8 seconds, 0 to 200 is amazing in anybody's book.
And as understood, it won't be your final car for the next few years?
No. This is, I think we've published the fact that we've got 15 cars to deliver in the next 5-6 years. This is just the first one. There are many more at base that we're working on. We've got 9 car programs on the go at the moment. So we're very, very busy backing Woking to deliver what I hope are more of these breathtaking cars.
when you launched the 650S, there wasn't a 570, and now it's no longer the base model. Of course, you have the 12C, but now there's a model under the 720. Is that strange?
Well, I think the 570 in itself has great performance. So one of the things that we wanted to do is make it clear that the Super Series had more performance than the Sports Series, and more feature content and more luxury, and more breadth of performance. So it's important to keep that segmentation in the marketplace to make sure that, as I said, the Super Series was at the core of what we do.
And how was customer feedback? I'm pretty sure you've shown it to your regular customer already?
Well, we've shown it to some VIP customers throughout the world, and the feedback is amazing, I have to say. I mean, our customers are typically fanatical about the brand, but they've been blown away by the styling of the car, blown away by the performance of the car, and I think they really like the fact that we've made a big step change on the interior and really lifted that level of quality as well. So, yeah, the feedback's been absolutely amazing. From my perspective, it puts the pressure on, because everybody has this great expectation now. The car has to deliver the performance, but we're really, really confident in the performance of the car to deliver that.
If you looked at the brand or the image of McLaren until now, since it's restarted its Cars for the Road program, then it's been that the performance is very high, but maybe a little clean on the technical part, which was actually part of the McLaren brand. Is that still the same with the 720, or do you want to be more aggressive? Or
I think we've learned to maybe introduce a little bit more emotion into the car. I mean, some of the things that we've delivered on this car aren't there just for emotion, but we recognise that owning a supercar is a very emotional experience. So the car fundamentally looks beautiful. We've got this beautiful moving instrument display, which actually looks really cool and kind of welcomes you when you get in the car, but performs a function because it folds out of the way and leaves a completely uncluttered view.
Was it your idea?
Yes. We've got an illuminated engine bay because with the carbon fibre upper structure we've covered some in the engine. Mm-hmm. It's really important for our customers to be able to see the engine, so we illuminated it so they can see it. So yeah, there's a lot of emotion that goes into the ownership experience that we wanted to reward as well.
Can you elaborate a little on the behavior of gearbox and engine? How does it compare to the 650?
Well, we've done a lot, even more refinement in terms of speed of changes now. So, yeah, the gear shifts are quite electrifying, and both up and down shifts now particularly are fast.
Even faster than LT, for example?
Yeah, even faster. But we've incorporated, again, going back to the emotion, we've incorporated the pops and the bangs on the downshift. Everybody loves it, so it's now on this car as well.
Okay. Thank you very much for your time. Natuurlijk ook even aan de binnenkant een kijkje nemen. We zullen voor de vorm even de deur dicht doen om het ruimtelijke gevoel wat te zien. Er zit zelfs glas boven mij, dat is optioneel, maar je krijgt daardoor wel meer licht in de auto. De ruimte is ook goed, je merkt veel meer ruimte achterin, dat maakt hem redelijk GT-waardig. Interieur is merkbaar veel luxer uitgevoerd dan in de 650S. Omdat ze hem ook breder willen positioneren, wat Mark Vinnels al aangaf. Wat natuurlijk het mooiste is het dashboard. Breed, ja hier dit. Hij was er zelf ook trots op. Als je track rijdt heb je alleen nog maar toeren en je snelheid daar en verder geen enkele afleiding. Ondanks toegenomen luxe en grotere motor is hij wel lichter dan zijn voorganger, zo'n 20 kilo ongeveer. Terwijl de 650 was natuurlijk al niet bepaald een zware auto, dus dat is wel een bijzondere prestatie. Exacte prijzen voor Nederland zijn nog niet bekend, want weet je natuurlijk met onze BPM-systeem wat hem niet goedkoop maakt. Maar goed, in dat segment heb ik het idee dat klanten niet zoveel geven om 10.000 of 20.000 euro meer of minder. Mr. Goodwin, can you tell me how much of your effort is put into this car?
I can tell you how much of my time. It's been a 24/7 job to develop this car.
Since when?
About 3 years really of active work on cars, on test cars, mule cars, prototype test cars and so on, has led to this point. But it's been a really, really good step for the whole McLaren automotive company. It's a really good indicator of how far we've come from the original Super Series car that launched the company all those years ago, not very many years ago, the 12C.
And if you have a 650S customer, driver, who will make his first drive in this car, what's the first thing he will notice?
He will notice that we've come a long way. As I say, this car is a really good indicator of just how far we've come as a company. We've harnessed a lot more technology. There's some really cool innovation in this car, but if you just have to look at it, you can see that everything has moved on. You really need to drive the car to really see, I think, what it's all about, and we've moved the driving experience forwards, taking advantage of what we learned from developing the P1 and the 675, and even the Sports Series, the 570, tuned us into the exciting feel that our customers like in our cars, and the 720S is all of that. You know, it really adds a huge amount of grip, a huge amount of performance, huge amount of stability, but when you get into the apex of a corner, you really feel like you're in a sports car that's agile, you can play with it, and then you put your foot down and drive off to the next corner.
What are the things you did to create more experience in the car?
It's attention to detail on everything, really. So, for instance, the driving experience starts when you start the engine. So we've spent a lot of time working on the sound, the exhaust note when you fire the car up. Very important. What do you feel coming through the car? Even what do you feel through your hands, through the steering wheel? You need to feel, as a driver, part of the car. Then you drive away, and of course the drivability under your right foot, the throttle response on and off throttle are key. The car needs to feel alive under your right foot, so you lift off and it responds immediately. You accelerate, it's a linear, drivable experience, especially if you're drifting the car through a corner. You really need that minute amount of control, but to drive smoothly at normal speeds you need the same.